What's up, you guys? Welcome to the channel. It is Serenity, your esoteric empress. You guys, today I'm just going to hang in here and wait until there are a few more people in the room, up in the building. Yes, yes. This is a serious topic today, but we have to talk about it at some point. Just want to get in here and get it in because it is so much relevance to what I want to talk about today, and I feel like I have to do this. I just have to do this. Today, we're talking about things that we ought not to do when we are suffering depression, which is a serious. It's the ice cream truck, y'all. This is the ice cream truck, which is a serious condition that's happening worldwide right now, especially in America. In the western part of the world, really and truly, there are like literally half of the people claiming to have suffered depression at some point in their life. And so that's a big number. One time ago, there were like 1 in 10, 1 in 7, something like that. And now it's like 1 in 2 people who have been reportedly suffering or battling with this mental condition. I would not say illness because we all have faced depression. I myself have faced depression severely in my life. I mean, more than once. I've had issues where I continuously like went back and forth between mental states where one day I would be happy, one day I would be like extremely down under. And this is not healthy, you guys. This is not our optimal state. This is not, we cannot function as regular parts of society in this kind of mind. And so it's important for us to find ways how to tackle this. We have to find solutions, then strategies, because at some point everybody I feel like is going to face sadness, but there's a difference between sadness and depression. Okay, sadness is something external that you can point to, that you can say, he or she is the reason I'm feeling down and out. This particular circumstance is the reason that's something that has brought me down to this low point. Or, depression, whereas depression is completely different, y'all. Depression is something that is within yourself. Depression is something that you cannot sometimes easily pinpoint, that says, okay, I'm feeling this way because I'm feeling this way. Usually, depression is something that is lacking or that you're feeling bad about within yourself. You're feeling some kind of shame, some kind of hurt, some kind of embarrassment, some kind of guilt, some kind of mental anguish that has to do with yourself rather than someone else. So, you guys, today, we're going to just dive into things. I'm going to call off 5 things that I have listed here. Got my handy dandy notebook, that I sit down and contemplate these topics and write down my notes. But I do that so that I don't miss points, I don't miss important points. And so we're going to dive right in here right now and discuss 5 of these things that you shouldn't do, basically, if you're depressed or when you're depressed. Now, there are also levels to depression because some people can be depressed just, temporarily. Some people have severe depression that lasts very long. That's called chronic depression, to points that are called clinical depression, where this is recurrent for weeks. It is ongoing for weeks and weeks, that you go to such extreme lows that is hardly, the light of day is hardly visible. And so we're going to discuss 5 things that I have on this list here that we ought not to do when we are in this state. Number 1 thing that we ought not to do in depression, when dealing with depression, is self-medicate. And a lot of us feel like that is the quickest and easiest go-to right there, self-medication, right? So not only am I talking about, let's say, herbs, because I used to do this as well when I felt sad, but it helped me. It helped me because I did the research. I took my time. I didn't try to just drown and swallow pills to solve my problems. Things such as vitamin C, supplements that are easy on the body, easy on the system. Vitamin C, I took magnesium, low dosage magnesium, because it was proven. I watched the Dr. Oz show, and it was like, okay, magnesium helps with our mood, right? With mood improvement. So I took 250 gram magnesium and stuff like that on a daily basis. I did all of these things, but I was still depressed. So on the list as number one thing not to do when coping with depression or dealing with depression is self-medicate. So stimulants people usually go to, those are for people who are feeling like low and lethargic. Depressants are when you're feeling hype and like you're trying to come down. Okay, so these are usually only temporary fixes. They're not going to solve the problem completely or permanently. And so we're going to discuss now why. Because just imagine people who use cocaine, right? A lot of addicts, I feel like, become that way, so addicted, because they're chasing that high. They're chasing that first high, that rush that they got when they probably were depressed. And they have turned to drugs or alcohol. They turn to something to calm their mood or to change and alter their mood, alter their perception of life. And which is not healthy, like I said, because it's going to extremely send them down the opposite path. And then it's going to send them into a spiral of addiction. And the crash is almost certainly going to be more devastating than the high. And so this is definitely number one on the list of what not to do when dealing with depression. The second thing on the list here is do not, I repeat, do not isolate yourself. Why is this? Isolation. Isolation is withdrawing yourself from people, like staying away, going into hermit mode, And we all need this sometimes. We need to get away from the crowd. We need to sort out our thoughts, a lot of the time. But the problem with isolation is that humans, as human beings, we need support. We need support from one another. Okay? This is why people were in tribes back in the day, all the way back in the day. Notice now everything is turning solo, like everyone is, the social distancing is crazy, y'all, because this is going to increase depression cases, because we are meant literally to be together. We are meant to support one another. We are meant to come together and help each other to heal, be each other's support, like a shoulder to cry on. You know what I mean? And thank you for joining. Hi. You guys, I have comments turned off because my laptop is like in the other room, and I was just so eager to get this video done but thanks for watching anyways. Isolation is not the key. It's not. Because, like I said, your consistent and most dominant thoughts. If you're alone, those things that have you depressed usually are those thoughts. We know thoughts are things. And so those most dominant thoughts of yours aren't able to change. You're going to keep spiraling down into lower and lower thoughts. If you aren't around other people who can kind of brighten your day, other people who can change the subject, who can ask you different questions and change your focus, hence changing your mood. And so on the list as number two, what not to do when dealing with depression is isolate yourself. You want to get out there. Number three on the list of what not to do when you're dealing with depression is don't, I repeat, don't make huge decisions. Do not make life-changing decisions. Clearly, we know why, right? But I'm going to just go into depth a little bit as to my reasons, my personal reasons why. Think about it. When you're sad, when you're feeling like you're at the bottom of the ocean, like you're at the Mariana Trench, for goodness sake, in sadness, in pain, in suffering, in sorrow, you cannot see the world clearly. Through the fog, you can't see. So how is it? It's just like having a windshield, looking through your windshield during a thunderstorm with no wipers on. Okay, this is exactly how you feel when you're going through depression. And so to try and make decisions, important decisions during this time is not wise. You are not going to make the right choice usually. You're going to see things from a skewed perspective. You're going to be angry because a depressed person cannot see the bright side of things in that moment. So you're going to make the most radical choice just to try something that's going to thwart your emotions, or that you feel is going to throw you into the opposite direction of your feelings. You're going to decide something that is so huge, that is such a life-changing choice, maybe you're going to regret it. Maybe you're going to actually cause someone else who's involved to regret it. And so, major decisions you want to actually think about. You want a clear mind. You want to be able to clearly understand what it is you're getting into before you choose to dive head first or nose first into a decision. Like purchasing a house, like getting married, like having a baby, like, buying a car, whatever, starting a business. These are major life decisions that you do not want to try to do, to choose to do during your bout of depression. It's just not wise. So you want to take your time. You want to think things over. Sleep on it. You know what I mean? So number four on this list of what not to do when you're dealing with depression, you guys, don't neglect yourself. It's very important to keep up with your basic and fundamental needs, y'all. Like, some people, when you see they're depressed, they don't want to take baths, they don't want to clean their place, they don't want to even sleep. They're just chasing, trying to find some solution, trying to find some remedy. And this is going to send you way down under, because you're going to be more depressed. You're actually being counterintuitive. You're actually being you're going the opposite direction than where you want to be. This is not healthy. They don't even want to eat. Like, you lose your appetite. You want to eat, because notice a person when they're hungry, right? I know this is not a laughing matter, but like, just think about it. If you're hungry, like the Snickers commercial, you are not you, y'all, when you're hungry. So do not neglect the things that your body needs, the things that your mind needs. As a human being, you need to eat. As a human being, you need to look around and have a clean and clear environment. You need to be in a space that's comfortable, that's conducive to having positive thinking. If you look around and your place is in a complete mess, it's like you're living in the pits of hell, you're going to feel like you're in hell. And so it's very important to try your best to go and just clear up the space. Go and make your situation better. Try to improve your quality of living, your quality of life. Eat better foods. Give yourself a fruit or a vegetable, for goodness sake. Do the things that are necessary, that are going to make you feel good. Okay? So do not neglect yourself. This is what I said as number 4. Not neglecting your basic needs. Okay, this only exacerbates the situation, makes you feel worse in the dumps. Number five on the list of what not to do when you're depressed. Do not rush to get past the depression. Now, I'm going to elaborate on this just a little bit, because a lot of people, they feel like, when am I going to get through this? Like, why do I feel like this, and how long is this going to last? Like, I just want to be better. Like, we know that, right? What depression is, in my opinion, it's a time for us to self-reflect. It's a time for introspect. It's a time for us to actually go within ourselves and think about what it is that we're feeling, to kind of, progress through the feelings, through our emotions. It's like a journey, because you don't always feel good. Life isn't always pretty. And so you have to understand that there are two sides to the coin, two swings to the pendulum. You're going to go back and you're going to go forward. You want, at this time, to take this time to heal. You need to face whatever it is that you're dealing with. You need to acknowledge whatever it is that you're dealing with. Usually when people are depressed, like I said, it's their dominant and most consistent thoughts that they just keep chipping away at their minds with, right? Whatever the things are that you believe most, these are what leads to these dominant thoughts. And so if you try to rush this process, you will not get the healing that you need to, the healing that you deserve, actually. You're going to miss some steps along the way that were actually crucial to your proper healing, to your coming out on the other side with this knowledge. How can you possibly help someone else in the future when you are better? Because you will be better. How can you possibly help him if you don't help yourself properly, if you don't navigate this journey. You have to get through certain checkpoints. Sometimes if you try to avoid the very things that you try to avoid by rushing the process, life is going to bring right back at you, say a year from now, 6 months from now, perhaps a week from now. You need time. It takes time. And this is what we are blessed with on this earth. Time. Okay? This is what is necessary for us to measure where we were, where we once were, to where we are, to where we're going. Okay, so time is very vital in this process. So don't also try to give yourself unreasonable times, like, okay, by this weekend or by next week or by next month, I'm going to be over this is going to be way behind me, I'm going to be a whole new person, blah blah blah. You can't do that. You cannot rush this. You have to just feel your way through one step, one day, one moment at a time. And when it becomes unbearable, you know what you have to do? We're gonna actually go to the steps that you have to start to take. We're not just gonna talk about what not to do here. We're gonna talk about what you can do. Because I like to be proactive here on this channel. We talk about the things, the solutions to problems here. So the things that you can do. What you can start by doing is being present, being in the moment, being here in the now, every moment, whether it's in the future, whether it's now or in the future. It has its now, it once was a now. So you have to be in the now. You have to remain steadfast in where you are, trust and know where you're going. This is very, very important to your healing process. So I was watching something the other day, because what I'd like to do is watch motivational videos, right? Just to keep myself upbeat. What I like to do is hear people who had struggles that I had, issues that I have dealt with in the past, and see how they got through them, right? So one of the things that I heard in one of these motivational speeches, they're talking about being like a samurai, right? Now, I don't know, I used to love the Last Samurai. I don't know if you remember that movie. I think it was Tom Cruise. Very, very, very good movie. Very moving, very emotional movie, right? Very powerful. So what it said about the samurai, it said to look at your mountain. Look at your mountain, right? Your mountain being depression. Whatever you are depressed about, that is your mountain that you are climbing, right? You have to face this mountain. You can call it a monster, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Give it a name. Label that mountain, whatever that hurdle is that you have fought so desperately to get over. Don't look at it as so much bigger than you. Label this thing, right? Try to look it in the eye. That's why I would prefer to call it a monster, call it a dragon, call it whatever you like, whatever suits you, which tickles your fancy, right? Once you give it a name, a label, that automatically sizes it down a bit. Okay, it's not something that's insurmountable anymore. Give it a name, face it, then you know what it said to do? Conquer it. Because you are able to conquer it. We were given the power as conquerors. We are ever triumphant. We cannot let anything that is, we are gods within, gods and goddesses within, right? If we are that, we must act as such. What external being or thing can ever win over us? We are the conquering lions, y'all. And so it's very important for you to face whatever that thing is, okay, that is trying to attack you, that is trying to belittle you and bring you down to your knees. Square up against it and beat it. Fight it, okay, because you have the power. How do we do that, though? It's easy to say, but how do we actually go about doing this? What I have found that helped me in my journey with depression, in my struggle with depression, was number one, of course, the things that I've already listed, the 5 things that you should not do when you're dealing with depression. But the things that really helped me that I did was, one, Exercise. Exercise, 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 y'all. And I always wondered how people who exercised for a living, like they made it a lifestyle, right? And I'm like, are they Superman? Are they superhuman? Do they have some special quality that they were born with that I wasn't? How do people just get up and exercise every day of their life? Like, I don't like sweat that much. Really? However, when you're dealing with depression, you find that every bit of exercise that you accomplish, you realize later on that evening, hey, I feel better. Like, you realize you forgot to be sad. You realize, like, wait a minute, I wasn't depressed today. Like, what happened? You realize that you were too tired to be depressed today. You realize, like, you felt accomplished. There's so many different benefits to exercise that it's hard to even list them all right now. For me, like I said, it made me forget my sadness, forget my problems. Number one, that was it. Number two, it made me feel good. Exercise releases chemicals in the brain. Exercise releases endorphins. Exercise releases feel good hormones, dopamine, serotonin. These are the chemicals, y'all, that are prescribed in antidepressants. These are the exact things that they want to increase production of in the brain in the depressed person. So this is number one, the way to do just that without self-medicating. You're actually doing it the natural way, without putting any chemicals in your body. For those of us, sometimes we may feel like, hey, I'm not a schizoid, I'm not a crazy person. Why are they trying to drug me up with antidepressants? I knew someone who was a friend of mine, very near and dear to my heart. Y'all, this lady took so many pills. It was alarming. It was disturbing because it's like, how can she possibly function now without these? You see, and you don't want to reach a state that you're dependent on drugs. You're not taking illegal drugs, but you're taking a boatload of legal prescription drugs. How is that possible? How do you function after that? She's got the Xanax. She's got all of these other like triptylines and like X's and it's a lot of stuff, y'all. She told like had a whole bag of like stuff that every single day, 3-4 times a day, she had to take these. Her relationships all were failing because all of the day long she would be spending dealing with symptoms from her prescription meds. That's not normal. That's not what we want to be. We want to be our best, most optimal, vital, healthy self. And so exercise, y'all, is definitely number one on my list of what we should do when we're depressed. Then, then on top of all the feel good hormones and all of that good stuff, what it does, it changes our view. We're no longer trapped inside the four walls of our home just listening to the traffic and like saying, oh my God, my life sucks like so bad. We're not doing that. We're out there. We're seeing life buzz past us. We're seeing the birds fly. We're seeing, we're hearing them chirp in our ear. We're seeing the colors of life, of nature. We're breathing in fresh air, for goodness sake. Air, just, whew, like Infinite Water says, breathing in that good ass prana. We're breathing the breath of life. This is what actually helps things to flow from within us. This is so important, y'all. It's so important. People underestimate the value of exercise. Now, what I did was run. I ran, y'all. I ran for years. When I was younger, I never thought I was able to run. But what is going on? Being depressed, sorry, y'all, flip my camera. Being able to run, I'm getting better and better at it. It gave me a sense of accomplishment as well. So there's so many different factors that make exercise work as an antidepressant in itself. It gave me a sense of like achievement. Like every day I would set my goal to go a little further and a little further and a little further. Then you realize, hey, my life does not suck so bad. I actually can get out here and run. Like, I actually can enter a marathon if I want to right now. You're seeing your clothes fit better. You're feeling better about yourself physically, aesthetically speaking. Like, there's so many benefits to exercise. Now, you don't have to run, of course. You can just go out and take the dog for a walk. You can just go and take a swim, get your goggles and stuff and just look at the life underwater. Like, find, be creative. Some days you can run, some days you can do something else. Some days you can just put on the radio and just dance. That's what I did. That's what I love to do. Put on your favorite music and just dance, though. Like, forget your problems, sweat it out, just pretend like you're on a disco floor, go wild. There's so many things you can do to help yourself that if you would get out of your mind sometimes to get out of your funk, take yourself back to childhood. Do the things that you did when you were a child, what made you happy. You know, go out with your kids, take them on the park and just run, roll around in the grass, whatever it takes, do it. Once it makes you feel good and it's not hurting anybody else, do it. Okay? Do what works for you. The next thing that I would say that you should do, must do, when dealing with depression is rest. Rest, 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 rest. I can't stress this enough. I say this to my kids all the time. Look at when babies are tired, right? They get cranky. You cannot soothe them for anything in the world. You would put a bottle of fresh milk, you would give them like a pudding, you would give them ice cream, you would like hold them in your arm and be like, oh, mommy loves you, like, and that baby is just like, oh my God, like, let me go. That baby is tired, y'all. And our mind, we have to treat it like a baby. We have to treat it like that precious newborn baby, like an infant that needs love, tender care, loving, tender care. We have to treat that baby, just that mind, just like that baby. And so the baby needs rest, so does the mind. When we start to think, do you know how many thoughts the mind thinks average on a daily basis? Then again, there are some of us who lead busier lives. There are us who have businesses to run. We have family life. We have personal, interpersonal relationships. Some of us are actually like employers. We have pets. We have so many things to think about in one day. That is a lot on the mind. That is a lot of strain, mental taxation on the mind. We need rest. We need ample rest. Now, everybody is not required to sleep 8 to 10 hours a day. However, there are 24 hours in one day. Take a break at some point. Go and recharge your mind. Do you know that there are some countries that allow you to take naps during the workday? Like, I would love to live there. I don't know, Denmark, I believe. Denmark or Sweden, one of them, somewhere up in there. That is the most awesome thing. But people think that's being conducive, that's allowing laziness or perpetuating laziness in society, when I beg to differ completely. I believe that is the number one most effective way to get productivity out of your citizens, out of people. Okay? People can't function well when they're tired, y'all. People are distracted more easily when they're tired. They cannot focus or concentrate properly. So take rest every so often. Don't go and isolate yourself and just go back into those thoughts that spiral you downward, but take actually effective rest. Like, take a nap, put some blinders, put something over your eyes, like, put on your night, whatever. Put a towel or a scarf or something over your eyes, block out the light, take a nap. At night, turn off the television in your bedroom. Turn off your cell phone. Stop looking at that fake glare from the screen of your smartphone. Go in the dark place. Breathe, relax, rest. Meditation is another way I'm going to slide that right in there as what you can do. Meditation. People underestimate the value of meditation. I have started doing this along my journey, my spiritual journey so much. I would call it Meditation is actually quieting the mind. It is so important to quiet your mind, y'all. Like like I said, of the thousands of hundreds of thousands of thoughts that we think from the moment our eyes open in the morning till we go to sleep at night, taking that time out, that 10, 15, 20 minutes throughout the day to just absolutely stop thinking about everything. Let it all go. Release it. Quietly tell infinite divine intelligence, I release whatever this burden is on me. I released it to the higher power. I release it to the God within me or the Christ within or whoever you serve, whoever you choose to worship, whatever your faith or your path is. Release it with love. Then go quiet. Focus on your breath. Don't focus on anything external. Just focus on your breath alone. Take deep, rejuvenating breaths. This is definitely something that we must all learn to do, and it's going to be the healing of our nations. Do you know they have worldwide meditations? You can go online. There are so many things online right now that are sleep meditations, things that are guided meditations, videos that you can watch. There are just endless videos that you can watch now or listen to with binaural beats, 432 hertz beats that are known to heal your consciousness, known to give you just a zen mood. It's going to balance out your mind. The next thing that we ought to do is, I already mentioned breathing, I mentioned meditation. I'm going to say is make a routine, start a routine, because we don't want to live a haphazard life, because everything in nature is about order and structure. So we want to create a space or create a lifestyle that is structured, that is organized. When you get up, create a routine. Start your morning routine, just as simple as giving thanks for the day. You wake up, you whatever it is that you're thankful. Make your bed. This is proven, scientifically proven, to make your day better. It starts you off on the right foot. It starts you off actually feeling like you've accomplished something, that you are actually heading in the right direction from the moment your day begins. Routine. If you exercise in the morning, if you're a morning workout person, do that. If you do yoga, whatever it is, if you make your coffee, make your breakfast, do the things that you know. Give it a certain order. Give it a routine. Give yourself a routine. Don't just go through life randomly and haphazardly, because things are going to fluctuate and they're going to go out of whack if you don't try to steer them down the right path. You want things in a structural order. This is going to help you control your life and master your life a little bit better. The last thing on this list that we ought to be doing when we're dealing with depression, create something. This is even something that is kind of equivalent to exercise, but it's even better because you actually have something to look at afterward. Use your hands. Get busy. Do something that you love doing. Whatever you're passionate about, whether that's creating art, writing, reading, creating a story, poetry, singing, create something. Art and craft. You can go online and find an exotic recipe and create a meal. Okay? Like be creative. Just use that creative faculty that you've been gifted with to utilize your time better. Keep yourself busy. Don't get so bored to where your mind just starts hollering at you these sad thoughts. You want to actually take the time out to hone and focus and sharpen your focus on something that you are going to be proud of later on. So it's very important to do this. Art and craft, all of that stuff. A lot of people they know what their gift is, but they haven't got the time. They say they haven't got the time, but you have to create that time, because we all have the same 24 hours in one day. Sorry to say, I don't have more time than other people. Other people don't have more time than me. They just prioritize their time a lot better. If it takes you 5, 10, 20 minutes out of a day to allot to your hobby, to your passion, to create something, do that. But do it every day. Like I said, with a routine. Structure your life. This is how you master your life. You have to be the conqueror, okay? It's up to you. It's not going to be up to anybody else. So, to be the best version of yourself, it's going to take work, y'all. It's hard. It's hard work because life is hard. I'm not going to sit here and pretty it up. Life is very hard. But life is also very beautiful. And what makes it beautiful is getting through the hard parts, getting through all of these battles, all of these hardships like we're going through right now with this pandemic and everything. It's hard. I would be totally lying if I said it wasn't. But you know what? I know that we're going to come out triumphant on the other side of this. And that is the beauty of it all. Just have this inner knowing. Have a knowing that you will get through this. Like this too shall pass. And being happy, literally, your life depends on it. And so do the things that you have to do. Do the things that are necessary today. Like they said, do what others aren't today so that you can do what others can't tomorrow. And so, with that, I want to say peace and love. Blessed be. Until I come back with another great video or live feed, thanks for watching. I hope this has helped you. And, I definitely know that it has helped me tremendously. So, leave your feedback definitely in the comment section. I don't know if this should be able to view after the fact, after the live has ended. But yeah, you guys, you have to elevate yourself, because the adversities that you face right now, these are the things that are only going to make you better tomorrow. You can't be an inspiration to somebody if you've never been through the test, if you've never had the test. The testimony comes from the test, all right? So with that being said, I'm going to say peace out, blessed be, thanks again for watching, and bye.